Hello. It's been a long time. I'm actually calling my little time away a sabbatical because it's been that long. And in that time, God is always talking to me, always reminding me that this is something that I need to be doing. So I'm back again. We are here with season 5. Season 5. I cannot believe it. What can I say? I was just here thinking about the journey of this podcast and, the fact that I was in my kitchen, washing up the dishes, minding my own business when I got this little tap on my shoulder from the man that I like to call my dad. And he asked me to speak to people about purpose. And I said, who, me? And he said, yes. And I said, well, I haven't got cameras. I can't do this. I can't, I need to start just doing it and stop questioning. But I did question him a little bit and then I was obedient. So I started off with Instagram Live and now we are here in season 5 in a brand new studio. And I'm just so grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the growth. And what is the best thing about starting this new season is that the guest that I have is someone who God showed me. He gave me this little list. I need to go. I know I've got the list somewhere. I will find it. But the first, I think I had about 8 names that God literally I just wrote the names down. And there's been a few that have been ticked off, but you have been somebody that God had really laid it on my heart that we needed to have this conversation. And we cross paths every now and again. Yeah. I feel like I've been a piece of the journey. I've been to both premieres, just seeing you evolve really. And it's so beautiful to watch. And it's like, I feel like a proud sister. It's really funny, even though we don't have that relationship, but I do feel like I love to see people winning. I love people doing what they're doing and glorifying God. And that's why I think maybe he was like, yeah, we need to hear about this. But the reason that we do this more so is that there's somebody sitting there who hasn't got to their moment, may not even know what their thing is or their purpose. And this is to just encourage and inspire them to take that step in the right direction. Yeah. So just introduce yourself to us, please.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And it's an honor to be here. And I remember when you first reached out and timing didn't allow it at the time. But yeah, I'm glad that we're here now, season 5. And
yes,
looking forward to the conversation.
Good. And I didn't even introduce myself first. I didn't even tell you. I feel like they know anyway. But I am Jernine Russell.
Season 5 in.
I know. They should know by now.
Should know now.
But for the new people I don't know what you've been doing if you've been sleeping, but I am Jernine Russell. I am the host of Purpose Driven Life. And that's how I'm going to introduce myself today.
So, my name is Amani Simpson. I am a youth coach. I'm a filmmaker and I'm a child of God. And I'm very honored to do the stuff that I'm doing now and that I've been chosen to do this. And I'll do it with the best of my ability and try and stay as close to God as I can on this treacherous path of life. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's a really good word for it.
Treacherous.
It is treacherous. And I think, you know what, I was just thinking about my journey of just giving my life to God, and I thought it was going to be smooth sailing.
Thought that was it.
But you described it really well, because it is treacherous, because there's someone who don't really want us to win, and like that.
Fight for them, man, anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Who cares about him, man?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, sometimes life be really laughing. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I couldn't do it any other way. And this is the best way. And it helps me through the pain, through the tears, through the hardship. Yeah. God is like, he is so amazing, so awesome, so loyal, so true to his words. I could be here all day saying how amazing he is. But, and you know what I was getting wrong in this journey was the obedience.
Yeah. Let's talk about obedience, man.
We could.
Yeah,
even
me.
with this.
Yeah.
And you know that delayed obedience is disobedience. Did you know that?
That's a word still.
That is a word. But
yeah,
the fact that I was questioning God and I was saying, oh, this and that, that's delayed obedience.
Yeah.
Disobedience, basically. So I'm being obedient now.
Yeah.
I get there in the end. It just takes me a little, I'm a little bit, still got that little bit of tiny bit of rebellion that he just
humanity,
has to,
innit? It's
you know.
what I mean? Yeah, trust me.
So my first question, and before I say that, actually, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for just being an amazing role model for young black men, loving your wife the way you do, honouring her, like being an amazing dad, like, and it's not, when I see people on social media or I am drawn to someone, you kind of follow their journey, and it's not in that way of like, oh my God, look at what they're doing. But there's things that stand out to me, and young men need to see that it's okay to love one woman.
Trust me. To
be a great dad. So the things that you're doing, it's exemplary.
Thank you.
So yeah, I have to give you your props for that, because just giving an example to someone who may not have that example is we don't notice that people are watching us. And the things that you're celebrating and the things that you're doing well, that is amazing for young men to watch that.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate it.
So yeah, just had to just say that. But
nice.
We'll get back to the scheduled thing
nice.
now.
Good. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
But one of my gifts is to be I'm an encourager.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, me too. So.
Do you know, when I discovered the gift, I was vexed, See, this is what I'm talking about, being unruly. I'm unruly. I'll just give the reason why was because when I was kind of like reading up about gifting and spiritual gifts and stuff like that, I always thought gifts were loud and everybody could see them, and Beyonce's on stage or this person's doing their thing, and it like everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And it took somebody else telling me, yeah, but what your gift is to encourage people. And I was like, of all the gifts, really?
It's one of the most important, though.
And then I was like, oh. And then it's almost, if I look in my phone book or my WhatsApp messages, it was evident. I do it without even thinking about it.
Trust me.
So I have to just keep encouraging. But and it helps us, because sometimes we get tired on the journey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were just talking about, it's been a hard week and whatever, but keep going, man.
Trust me.
Definitely. So, sorry, I chat too much. It's because I haven't been here for a long time.
You're good. Yeah, that's what the thing about podcasts is, that you can say what you want to say. You have less structure, and it's beautiful. You just have a convo.
Yeah, I like to just, you know what I mean? Let people talk instead of me. I'm normally quite, I sit here, ask my questions and go home. But it's nice. It's nice to have a conversation. Definitely. So the first question is, what does purpose mean to you?
Do you know, I have this analogy that I use when it comes to purpose. I think purpose is what God whispered in your ear when you were in heaven before you came to earth, in a language that only your heart could understand. That when you got to earth, you then searched all the way through your life, and then when you get it, it's just a language that you get. And then when you start to activate that purpose, you're just flowing and things happen. And the reason I say that is because I feel like once you're in line with what your purpose is, nothing can stop what's been put in your heart to do. So yeah, for me, I think that's the best way that I would describe it.
If I could drop the mic, I would.
Don't do that though.
Because, as I said, this is season 5. We're in 2024. I've been doing it since 2021. And I've had some beautiful, eloquent kind of descriptions of what purpose means. But to me, we need to write that down and put it on a post, or like it really touched me in a different way. But yeah, I love that. God whispers
in your ear before you get, you're going to go down to earth and do this. I need you to go and do that. He whispers in your ear. It's the last thing that he says before, you get released into the world. And And yeah, I think you grow up as a baby, you don't really know what that is. And as you learn and go through life, and then suddenly it's like it just hits you and it just makes sense. And everything, once you activate it in obedience and you do that, it's just, you're just flowing. And I think, yeah, so that's been my experience. And I feel like, because I feel like I'm walking in my purpose intentionally, like with what I'm doing, it's just green lights, you know? Yes, there may be ambers from time to time or stop signs, but it's never a traffic jam. It's never a roadblock that is, you know, not going to eventually move me in the direction. So yeah, all of that is just, I feel like God is just giving us something to do, and we just got to work the rest of our life to work out what that is and then do it.
Oh my gosh. I actually could feel tears coming to my eyes because it's so deep, you know. And I think because you're a visionary, we just spoke about this. I'm quite a visual person, but what you just did, it's almost like you painted a picture. So I can see that because of the description in how you said it. That's what makes me feel really emotional, because I can almost like, I do these my head can be it's a very creative space, but words are really very important to me. And your words has just almost like, I can see like this masterpiece in the art gallery, and it's like, or watching it. And maybe because I've actually visualized like being there and meeting, sitting at his feet, and it's like, because when you're the whisper, that's what kills 100%. It for me, because that's how he whispers. 100%. And it's like so gentle, and it's like a reassure. It's
on the wind, isn't it? It's on the breeze,
like
man.
You know, your father's voice.
Yeah, trust me.
Don't get me wrong, I know you got your harder voice sometimes, but you know that the way that you speak to your daughter is so important, you know.
Trust me.
Do you know something? Especially with her relationship with God, your voice is so important. Yeah. Because it's the first voice before she starts to be able to discern God's voice.
That's deep.
It is deep.
Yeah. Word though.
Yeah. I was going to go somewhere else, but I'm not going to. But yeah. That whisper. That is, and it's like he's giving you your assignment almost.
That's it.
So we've had this in us, maybe from tiny. So your daughter's already got her purpose 100%. In her.
100%. And I think as parents, if I even go to another level, as parents, it's about trying to incubate that within your child. Trying not to stop them or move them away from that. And there's various different ways that parents and human beings can do that. But I think ultimately, like, there's going to become a time where she steps out and she's just with God, like, and there's nothing that I can do about it, nothing that my wife can do about it. We've just, you know, as they say, kind of trained the child up in the way that they should go. So that's it. We're stewards and we're her earth parents, but we've given her back to God from the jump. So
definitely. You know. And I think that is, and we were talking off just before we started about teenagers and stuff like that. And it's like, being able to just nurture, I tell my kids all the time, you know, that I don't know what I'm doing, you know.
Winging it every day, bro.
I wing it every day. I've been winging it your whole life. But now, because I'm able to hear God better, it helps me to know, okay, the example I give you is my daughter Ray, beautiful child. I'm not even talking about her exterior. I mean, her heart is so beautiful. And she is amazing at cooking.
Oh, is it?
But no, I'm not talking, this is level. She's 15.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
Some of the things that I've taught her, she can cook better than me. Now I just take a seat. Last week we had people round and we had to make curry chicken. I need to sit down. There's no point in me doing curry chicken when Ray's curry chicken is better than mine.
That's exceptional delegation, you know.
No.
I like that as a parent. I'm trying to get there, you know.
No, listen, my kids, our job, they are dependents now. Our job is to make them independent.
Yeah, that's right.
So that they can go off into the world and flourish and do what they need to do.
I've got a funny story on that though. My mother-in-law said to me once, oh no, was it mother-in-law or was it, maybe we joke about it now, but I saw it on Instagram. And it was like this dad that was filming his child washing up. And he said, I've waited 15 years to use this dishwasher.
Well,
Yeah, I said I like that,
yeah. Well, in my house, that is one thing that they don't like to
Dishwasher,
do.
yeah,
It's
trust
like
me.
just the argument that is. But if you cook, I don't
Uh-huh.
mind washing up.
That's it. That's the rules, isn't it?
So the reason I was talking about Ray's cooking is that it's her gift, it's her passion, it's anything that she's watching on TV is related to food.
Oh yeah.
All of those Netflix programs, every single MasterChef did all of it. Anyway, she's in year 11, about to do her GCSEs in the summer, and I had gone on a course, and in the building that I was in on a Saturday, I saw these young people with like, aprons and the chef's. I was thinking, what's going on in here? As I do, always chatting to young people. Went over there and they were doing like a junior chef's course on the Saturday. So I was like, okay, right. Wrote down the details, went home, told Ray. She's like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing, but I don't want to go on my own. I was like, okay. Anyway, cut a long story short, I want her to think about her options. Don't think you don't have to go down this route of A-levels. No. Nope. So they had an open day for the culinary school. So I booked it. We went. And Amani, I don't know about Ray if she's going to go for it or not. But when I was there, something just happened. Like I came away from there just feeling absolutely inspired. And the young people were taking us around who are doing the course now. And they just look, when they're in their lane, they're 17, 18, but they're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to discover and try this and that. They were just themselves. Some had green hair, some had this, some had, you know what I mean? They were just fully being themselves.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow. We bought some, at the end they were selling bread and they sold these currant buns and chocolates. We bought everything and was eating it all. And I just planted a seed. And what I said to her is, whatever you do, I'm going to be there 100 and whatever %. Whatever you do, don't let people put you in a box. Because some people can put, you're going to culinary. Oh, you're not going to do A-levels. Okay, what do people that do A-levels? They do these 3 subjects, they study, and then what? Because usually it's because they don't really know what they want to do yet. They go to uni. I know I've got about 3 or 4 friends who've got law degrees. Good Lord, 2 1s, first. Guess what? None of them are doing law. So I want you to do what you love. Yeah. So I just wanted to open her eyes to it.
Yeah, hear that.
And now the seed's planted. Now it's for you to make the decision on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's our job, is to make them independent.
100%.
I just want them to do what they love.
That's it.
I want them to walk in purpose. I said, when you're doing the thing that God wants you to do, the other things you're not going to have to worry about them. He will make provision.
Yep.
You don't have to go and do like a big old banking job to earn 100, whatever you think is like a lot of money. Because is that your purpose?
Most of the time it's not really, is it? So.
Well, a lot of people are doing that and they're not happy.
Yeah. Make money, but money doesn't equal happiness for the time.
Yes. So this is it.
So
talking of purpose, which you described, that I don't think I'm ever going to get that description out of my mind. But what is your purpose?
What's my purpose? How would I describe it? I would say part of my purpose is to help steer young people away from darkness. That's what I promised in the ambulance that I would do. And so this, after I got stabbed, when I was 21, so it was like a rebirth, like a moment where the old me essentially died in the ambulance and the new me was born. And part of that promise was, if I get another chance, I'll live to steer young people away from darkness. So that is part of my purpose, and I'd say it's a massive part of it. I also would then add to that around telling stories and encouraging and giving hope. And just trying to leave places better than I found them. And then if I talk about like home life and stuff and family life, I think it's just being present and loving and just nurturing my family so that it's never a thing where the public version of me is like who's that person? You know, the public version is like essentially what I show people. But when I'm at home with my family, with my loved ones and my boys and everything, that's my most authentic. And I don't want anyone in my life to feel like, you know, you spent more time with everybody else and you haven't done it with us, or you haven't encouraged, you haven't built up. So I think that's it. And within my space, it's being, it's reflecting Christ light in everything that I do. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow. There's so many facets to that, isn't it? But I like, well, you know what? Being Christ-like, listen, we're all out here trying, but
I used to say, like, I think it's about reflecting that light, right? It's it's like this is a dark world.
Yep.
And there's that old saying that people always use is like, you know, you might be the only Jesus that somebody sees, or an example. And so it's like trying to represent that as much as possible. It's never trying to portray yourself as perfect, which I think sometimes you can get in certain instances. People try and pretend that like nothing goes wrong and, you know, they're only going to put on their good side. But I think within reason, you should be able to like be vulnerable with the things that you struggle with. But again, as I said, it's like it's just being in a space where you can be an example, but always referring back to Jesus and being like, look, listen, like, I know you see me, I know you're rating what I'm doing, appreciate you, but it's by God's grace. It's like, that's how I try and move, you know? And
it's good. It's definitely happening. It's definitely evident. Your light is shining really brightly. One of my little things, when my son goes to school in the morning, I say, shine your light, and he says brightly.
Love that.
That's our thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes he says brightly when I haven't said hurry up.
I might take that seriously, because me and my daughter do affirmations in the morning. And
you know what?
That's a nice,
I've got to send you it, because
I like that one.
It's because I was rushing, but God said that I had to give you something and I didn't bring it. Okay. So I got to send it to you. Anyway, it's about affirmations anyway.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. But and to me, it's like I want them to go into the world, even where you're in primary school, secondary school, wherever you're going, you have an opportunity to shine your light.
Yeah.
And it might be a smile to somebody. It might I chat to everybody, especially the older people. Good morning, how are you? I might be the only person that actually speaks to them today.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just out here. I one of my favorite guests is like the PT from my gym. But this man has made me go to the gym consistently, because he's just so passionate and so consistent, and he doesn't not do the class. He does the class he does it 3 times a week, and he is doing it, sweating with us. Not a lot of people, or I don't know anyone that does that. So that inspires me. But one of the things we spoke about was legacy. And, you know, I think about funerals a lot. Not that I think of death a lot, but I think about funerals. And there was one that stood out to me many years ago. I'm not even going to mention who it was, but one of the things that they were saying was that this person was going to do this. She was really good at this, and she was going to do that. And she was going to do... And I was like, well, you know, and it wasn't to take away from her, but what it taught me, I don't want to be going to do anything. I want to live full and die empty, so that the things that I am good at, even the things that I'm not good at. I went and did a sewing course the other day. Do you know what I mean? Because, well, actually, I liked sewing a long time ago at school, and then my Jamaican granny gave me her sewing machine. And I thought, well, what's the point of leaving that thing sitting there collecting dust?
Yeah, it's true. Yes.
Let me use it, as she would say, you know what I mean? So I did a little course.
Well, they say like the graveyard is the richest place on earth.
Definitely.
So many ideas, so many different things
Yep.
that people were meant to do.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think that does feel like a motivation for me, again, because I've experienced a near death and felt like life was like slipping away from me. Then when you come back on the other side of that, then you want to live your life to the fullest. And I think there's levels to it. Like that, I'm not rushing to go and climb a mountain and do all of that stuff till tomorrow. But equally, there's a ticking clock in the back of my mind, because once you get that close to the edge of the end of life, you then suddenly realize that this isn't forever. And there will be one day that we will just be dust and people forget about us. And even if even if you got a statue or a road named after you, something's going to happen and that's going to go one day and you're going to be history. How many billions and billions of people have lived on the earth that we don't know about?
It's so
and
true.
So therefore for me, it's like, in the time that I've got, try and use that time really well. And then ultimately when I get to heaven's gates, it's well done, good and faithful servant.
That's
it. And I think
the
that's how I've, as you said, I do think about death a lot, not from a morbid perspective, but just because I know that any move, any moment, like how many people wake up every day and think, I'm going to do this tomorrow. And so, or I'm going to do this today, or I've got this plan, I'm going to bed and who knows, I'm going down the road. Who knows?
It's so true, you know.
Listen, it's deep.
So true.
But that's it.
And you know what? It's the other thing of like trying to live good and tell people that you love them. Like one of my friends, it's actually a guy friend. He always, before he comes off the phone, love you.
Yeah, 100%.
And it ain't, it's not like that. But he's just reminding me,
100%.
Sis, I love you. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? It's so lovely to hear.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's something that we just have to keep doing. Just telling, the other thing that I saw the other day on Instagram was that at your, like when you have birthday gatherings, let people say what they would say when you pass away.
It's good.
I don't know how you can kind of facilitate it, but they kind of did it for my hen do.
Yeah.
So we went to a spa. I don't know who initiated it, but there's a lot of women in the room and people just had to introduce themselves and then say how they know me. But then people took it to another. Listen, I was a mess. I'm a very emotional, because words are really powerful to me. And it was just like, you don't even know the impact that you're having on people's lives. There's people watching you who don't say anything.
Yeah.
You know, who are watching, and you're kind of like, you've helped them through a time, or they watched your film and it was like, oh my gosh.
That is a crazy feeling, I'll be honest. I think, and if I speak candidly, I think it took me a while to get used to it, or at least accept it, because on the other side of it, obviously I've lived a good amount of my life not feeling that praise or that acceptance or that love. And so then when you kind of have an acceleration of lots of people rating what you're doing, lots of people, like you go places, people want to take your picture with you, and like you're just like, that's a bit like, I'm not used to that
yet.
Do you know what I mean? but at the same time, it's acknowledging the fact that they see something in what it is that I am blessed to do, been called to do, and they love that. And I think, as I said, I had to take some time, do some therapy, working and talking through it, because ultimately it's a weird place to be, where you kind of go from, like, I can understand how celebrities get to a place where it's just too much pressure, because you do get to a point where, even at my small level of doing stuff, that it can get overwhelming, especially if you're not used to it. So it's about really doing your best that you can to like prepare yourself to try and open those kind of closets of things that maybe your childhood version of yourself is holding on to, and then being like, do you know what, actually that's not who I am anymore. And I think some of those like self-reflective moments have been the best times in my life, because it's enabled me to like expand my internal territory and that internal like understanding and self-awareness. And so I'm now a bit more like, okay, if I go into a room and I'm like, this is overwhelming, I will know it, and I'll be like, all right, cool, actually done, I'm tapped out. Like, whereas sometimes in the past I just stand there and just like, I know I'm not 100%. So I think it's just learning as you go through life and listening to that inner voice, alongside God's voice, but listening to that inner voice that is very, very good at telling you, if you listen, where you're at. I think
that voice is good.
Yeah, well, there you go. Wow.
We think it's our voice, but it's just, it is. You said something. I feel I was watching a sermon yesterday, and he was talking about being prepared in the dark.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what's happened. Some of the preparation, and I love that you're open and honest about, actually I need to address some of them things, and for a man as well, because I feel like I'm always very open. I've told people about a really dark time. I've had lots of moments, but I can specifically think of a time in 2017, and that going to therapy, and I'm like, why did I wait so long? Why did I have to wait for like a crisis point?
Yeah.
Like, I think it should be something that we just do, because.
But I think our like millennials and above,
Yes,
it wasn't ever really in our day to day. It was just fix up, man. You know what I'm saying? Or like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what were you upset about? It's not that deep. Whereas what I love about the direction that we seem to be heading in is that well-being is definitely a lot more discussed with this generation. There's a lot more provision and resources, and people talking honestly and openly about it. I wish the older generation had access to this, because I do think there's a lot of people that are of older generations, grandparents, parents, that are holding on to generational things that they don't want to tell no one their business. And I'm too deep removed. I'm this age, I'm that age. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I just think there's so much peace that you can get from opening the closet. I use this analogy all the time. It's like walking around with a suitcase of baggage and all this kind of stuff, and you just keep adding to it with all the different things. And I think it just gets to a point where you have to pick up the suitcase, put it on a table or a bed, and unpack it and be like, don't need that anymore. And that's what, for me, therapy has been great at. Other people will find other things to do that with, but therapy and having someone that is there to listen and not respond, which I think friends, we respond when we're in a conversation. I'm listening to give you my opinion, and that when I was younger. But therapist is essentially like, so what do you want to bring to the space? And they just reflect. And when I discovered that space, I was just like, yeah, as you said, why have I not tapped in before? But now I'm here. I tell everybody.
Yeah, me too.
You know
what? I was thinking of that song. You might not know, but Erykah Badu's got a song called Bag Lady. Big tune. You know what it is? I'm not going to underestimate. I can see that you like music.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Because even when I was younger, I didn't really get Erykah Badu. I liked a few of her songs. But as I've got older and I've got experienced life a little bit more, and things have got deeper or whatever, it's like, oh, that's what she was talking about. So she's I get deep, it. Man. She's very deep.
Seen her live?
I haven't.
Yeah, she's like,
I haven't.
Different.
Yeah. So maybe that's on my next list of different people to see.
She's come
a lot of times, but she's not. I don't know. Like, I like to know at least 2-3 albums.
Oh yeah, I mean,
although I have been to. As I got older, I'm starting to just go. Yeah. If I like someone's just one song, I will go. Yeah. But I do love that thing when you go and you can sing along to them.
At least a few of them.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So maybe that's why I haven't. But I think for me, I always thought of therapy as a puzzle, a jigsaw. And I sat there, and it's like, they put all these pieces together. Oh, so that's why that, and it just, there was like this light bulb moment, and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I hear that unpacking, and I think there's levels to therapy, and there's different seasons of therapy.
100%.
So I think depending on when you do it, it will be a different experience. But I do think that unpacking, I've had quite a few therapists actually come. I seem to be surrounded by therapists actually, which is I don't know what that. It's not a bad thing actually.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
But one of them said it's about unlearning. So you spoke about your daughter and teaching her and helping her, and we're hoping that she doesn't have to unlearn. Because a lot, the place that we're in, sometimes I feel like some of the older generation have got so much trauma that was passed down to their kids and then passed down to their kids. So there's certain things like don't chat your business. We have to unlearn that. there's times and places I ain't going to chat my business to everybody. I don't put everything out there.
Yeah.
But I will have honest and vulnerable conversations about when the time is right. And, you know, I don't shy away from having therapy. And a lot of people were like, I can't believe that you had therapy. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, one of my cousins. Imagine that. You're my cousin. We're actually related. You always look like you've got it all together.
But again, I think that
What are
goes
you
back
looking
to, it goes back to how good we are as human beings at putting on a brave face, you know, dressing up, wearing the mask that we need to wear. Like, there's so many people around us that are hurting, and you'll never ever know.
Definitely been
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know. Like, you go and spend time with them, you say, how you doing? Yeah, I'm good, you know, I'm all right, you know, and then they start talking about work, or they deflect, or they ask about what you're up to. And if you're not aware of that, like, I find myself in conversations, like, I'll meet people and I'm like, how you doing, bro? How you doing, sis? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm okay, I'm good. But how are you doing? And I'll say, yeah, I'm good. But how are you really doing?
Yeah.
Because again, like, I think when you're aware of it and you've been there, you then know that actually, I know that you would like to talk about it, but you're so used to not doing it. Yeah. And I think, again, as you said, as an encourager, then the next step that, you know, the Holy Spirit will kind of just drop it in, like, something's not right there. And as long as you're constantly tuned into that voice, I think you will constantly go through life, whether it's someone on the road, like, you know, I'm sure you know already, you go to, like, being at a train station or something, you see someone and you're just like, or I even drive past somebody and look at their eyes for random reason, just look at their eyes and I'm like, there's something not right there. I might not stop the car because it's a bit weird.
I just
pulling
start
over.
Praying, you know?
Exactly.
That's my thing.
Exactly. And that's all and sometimes I've found, like, I might have been diverted or you know, there's been a delay in my schedule just for me to cross paths with that person, for me to be the person to pray for them. And again, that is a privilege, and that for me is purpose, to just be, like, positioned wherever I'm needed at whatever time, for me to be the person to intercede and to pray, to encourage, to open the door, to say something, whatever. Like, that's a massive blessing. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? I can relate to that so much. And the reason I gave that example was the way I said it, because it's my cousin. You're my cousin, you're my family. You have access to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a person, unless you don't know me or you just think you know me.
Yeah.
But I'll kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. I might not tell you my whole thing, but I'll tell you, sometimes it's hard. Do you know what I mean? These months that I've been away from here have not all been like, sabbatical is not just about being here or going on holiday. Sometimes it's God bringing you back on your knees to say, you know what, humble yourself or work on this area, or you need to spend some time on your children or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? And what I think I got hurt because it was a cousin that we were really close. And the fact that you don't just check in to know that actually, I don't really post on Instagram anymore. I've just got to this stage of like, I don't know, man. It's just, I just find it very fickle.
You and me, bro.
And I don't want to be a part of it.
If you have the ability to unplug from the matrix, as they say, like, I think that's a blessing. I think, you know, what I would say on that is that, you know, someone that has a platform or a product or a, you know, whatever it is that they're doing, there's something to promote, or you're trying to encourage or inspire, then use it. But again, choose very carefully what you put on there and post listen, my camera reel has got so many moments. If
you see my camera reel
that you could post and be on some, like, I went here, I met this person,
same.
You know, look at this thing that you're doing. If it's about you, then that's it. And I'm not saying that, you know, that's everyone's perspective. Some people are really on this influencer thing and they have to post. But like, I just suddenly got to a place where I was just like, it's probably similar to yourself. It's just like, why am I posting?
Yeah.
Like, what is the purpose?
The thing is, I do, you know, I have products, and I get mad with myself. Or I bumped into, you know, Steve from Proud and Gifted.
Yeah, my brother.
I have to shout him up.
Big up Steve.
Big you up. Yeah. Saw him at, oh my gosh, the Tate was doing like different things over just to lead up to Carnival. So they had like Saxon sound and they had like just like, it was a real amazing. So they had like activities for the kids in the tape, and then they had like a little food and whatever, bit like the thing, the black on the square thing. So I love things like that. I really try to immerse my children in culture and whatever. I literally just stepped foot in there and I saw him, and it's love. He's a love. I love him. Hugging. Then he just started to tell me, "Oh, why you don't post? Look how you've got all this. You've got so much footage." But he just went into one, and I was like, and I know it's love. I don't take it as like, oh, he's being. I just said to him, "Look, I hear you, but I'm one person. I work. Yeah, I've got 3 children. My son's schedule, football, all of these activities, 11 plus children. That's what I've been doing. So when you haven't seen me filming here, I have to be a mum. I've got to be present. I've got to support and encourage their transition. He's about to go into second. Listen, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
and you see Instagram. That is not important to me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's all good. I just have this love, and I also don't want people to look and think that I have everything together. I don't want anyone to think that. I'm a whole mess. But you know what? I've got a loving and amazing father who is literally helping me to piece it together, helping me the things that I've been through, similar to you, like where you want to bring the light into the dark. It's the same for me. I've worked in the criminal justice system for so many years, and every time I get stressed and think, oh, this is too much, God is reminding me, you have to shine your light. And I'm just like, do you know what I mean? It's like, so I think the last time I saw you, I was talking about the project I was doing in the prison with the women. And it's like, you came at the right time to say those encouraging words. I did another application for the funding, like that I've been kind of like sleeping on, or just.
But you know, the craziest thing about that is I don't remember that.
You don't?
I don't remember saying the words.
Okay, you did. You told me to message Andres.
Yes. Yeah. But
so
again,
I reached out to but it's like
in the moment.
I know
it's because I don't think you can. Again, as humans, like and children of God, like we're on this earth and things happen. And again, when you're positioned to do something, and the amount of times, like you will remind me of that, or I'll go somewhere and they're like, oh, you might not remember this, but you said this to me at my school, or you said this here, and years later they come back and they tell you, and you're just like, I don't even remember that. Not because you're not important to me, but because in the moment I just said what the Holy Spirit told me to say.
Yeah.
And so you literally, when you are a vessel, it's not your words. I might remember if it was from me, because I'm thinking, I'm calculating it. But when it is literally just I'm passing on the message, how many, good analogy, it came to me just now. How many delivery drivers remember every package from Amazon?
It's impossible.
It's impossible. But they always pass. They remember the house, but they don't remember each individual thing. But each individual package parcel has blessed someone and given someone something. So that's, I guess, what just came to me just now.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'll remember that. But yeah, so that is it's nice. It's nice to meet someone else that encourages it as a gift and to use it. And I don't not use it, but I just was like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my own ego that needed to be worked on. That's what it is. Now I'm okay. I'm like, it's all right. This gift is beautiful. It's as big and as small as you want it to be. Yeah. So you spoke about your purpose. How did you know it was your purpose?
I would say, obviously going through that traumatic experience activated a particular perspective. So I could and just the different things, whether it's county lines, getting kicked out of school, getting expelled, family stuff when I was younger, like all of those things, I guess, or being bullied, like all of that stuff is the things that give me a perspective that helps me to look at things through a young person's eyes and to empathize with them and to think about like what's needed here, or I say what's needed here, but how can I serve? What I would say is that there was a couple of moments in my life. So I was an estate agent for a number of years. I had a business that I was running, and we had a high street shop, and there was a group of boys that used to walk past our shop every day and go to the school next door, always hailing us up. And this one day he was on his own, like maybe 2 years after me first seeing him. And he just looked sad. His hood was up, he looked sad. And I was on the phone to a client. And I remember like just God saying, go and talk to him. And running out and talking to him and him saying, I've been kicked out of school. And then without thinking about it, like the first words that came out of my mouth was like, do you want some work experience? And essentially what it's been from there has been like paying forward what other people did for me when I was younger in different ways, or have done for me through my life, or again, being obedient with what God told me to do. So I would say that that's how I knew, because the feeling of working and enriching this young person instead of just working with rich and successful, you know, sometimes quite arrogant, selfish people, money doesn't do that for me. Like, yes, you can get paid from working with young people, telling your story, making films, having a profile platform, but that money will never, ever, 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 ever take away from when someone comes and says, thank you. What you said helped me.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I was in this place. And because of that conversation, because of that opportunity, because of that word, I'm now here. I decided not to give up. There's no amount of money in the world.
Yeah.
Nothing. No check. Don't care what the number is.
You know what? It's so funny because I'm exactly the same.
So there you go.
That is intrinsic satisfaction.
100%.
And a lot of people, especially when you get to this age, or my age, it's like you look around you, you've got different people doing different things. And that's the other thing about social media, which I think just annoys me because it's so materialistic.
Yeah. If I cleanse your feed, man.
Oh, not me. Listen, I'm saying this from a viewpoint of being a mum of teenagers.
That's true. That's a whole different.
Who come
That's
and have these wants and these.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
that's a different battle there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
It's a whole. Listen, you see this thing. This is the worst thing. I know that it's definitely from Satan. Definitely. Because the way that it's come to take the social media, I feel like the access, like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, the way that they are filtering out information, and these children are just like absorbing it. And you know what? I think of myself as quite I wouldn't say strict, but I do put things in place to kind of put boundaries and discipline and but yet it's still I think of the time when George Floyd.
George Floyd is murdered up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like I thought of the boxer at the same time. So I was like, did I say the right name? When he was killed and they had the video, because I told you I'm visual. I don't mess with no horror film.
Impossible.
I don't do anything that's too visual.
Anything doppy, Nikki.
You see something, I don't watch it, especially before bedtime.
Yeah, impossible.
But I've always been like this. I remember watching Freddy Krueger when I was like 12 or something. My best friend was really into those films, and I went to her house and we were. Listen, for a long time I didn't sleep well. So I just anyway. So I didn't want to watch the video. You know, like a lot of people post these things of fighting. I don't want to see that. I don't even like watching boxing too much, right? I don't like things like that. So when that video was going around, I made sure that I did not watch. The same for my kids. How did my son, he must have been he's 10 now, so maybe he's 6 or 7. He saw that. He saw that video. Having older sisters. But to me, he's just been exposed to things that he wouldn't have been exposed to. And when they get to a certain age, as much things you're saying, no, you can't have this, you could turn off the Wi-Fi, all of these things, they still are receiving messages that are not what I'm putting out. And I think it's detrimental to them. And I think of other young people, I just think about the fact that, sometimes I see their Christmas list and I just look at them like, yeah, really? I said, you know what Christmas is?
That's so funny.
Because I have very frank conversations with them. I told them this year we're doing Secret Santa. Yeah, not because I believe in Santa, but listen, this whole consumerism thing.
Yeah.
Not doing it this year.
Yeah,
You lot are old enough. If you want one thing, just let me know. You know, and I just think, I just think the things that they wouldn't know about, they know about. My 15-year-old, she wanted this bag for her birthday, which is, you know, wasn't good. Well, she knows anyway. She ain't coming to me to ask me for nothing. Like Longchamp. Do you know? I don't know if you know that handbag.
Yeah.
She goes to school in Essex, so this is what them Essex girl. This is what she said she wanted for her birthday. I was like, I never heard of this thing. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I looked it up. I thought, okay, she's a good girl. She does well at school. It's your birthday. You can have your one item. So me and my husband went to go on New Bond Street or wherever we went to have to look for the shop to go. And I thought, I'm walking in here to buy my daughter a bag. I don't even have a bag. But I don't care for those things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But so to me, they're getting influenced by the things that they're watching. The amount of, TikTok, they want this jacket. Oh, have you seen this new thing in Zara? Or we had one little Argos catalogue.
Yeah. Argos catalogue. But you know what? I think it's the other side to that, which I agree with you. I think there is definitely a massive negative pull factor from social media and just generally media and advertising now, because someone reminded me the other day when we were growing up, or there was like 2,000 messages a day that is trying to tell you something, right? Now it's 20 to 30,000 messages talking to a young person or talking to a human being in general as you walk down the road, as you watch on your phone or whatever. And so there is one view which would be like, okay, just ban it all, shut it all down. But ultimately, there is a positive side where you have to do your best to try and reclaim that territory and put different narratives into the space, because it's not going away.
Yeah.
It's not going away. It's here to stay. It's only going to get bigger. All of our children, all of our grandchildren are going to be immersed into this technological world, and it's just going to be like natural for them. It's only going to get more advanced. There's no way back. And so it's how do you then use it to claim territory and to say, all right, cool, we have dominion of this thing. How do we use media for good purposes? I'm building an app at the moment, which I'm sure I'll come back and talk about in more detail, but I'm building an app to try and combat some of the narrative that, again, young people are beginning to see. And again, part of that driving factor is looking at, like, especially the ones that are vulnerable or at risk or, classified as disadvantaged. They are even more kind of tapped into some of those narratives. But unfortunately, because of those different factors, those things are going to affect them more. Yeah. And what you're finding is you've got people that are living in, really low socioeconomic environments, but I've got the nicest trainers, the best car, the best TV on their wall. And a lot of it's about education. But also, I guess it's that feeling of this is the darkness that I'm in. And I get a little bit of respite just by buying this thing and feeling like I'm up. So it's a balance. As I said, it's how do you kind of utilize what is potentially going to be used for evil and saying, yeah, I hear what you're trying to do, but this is what we're going to use it for. And if we can do that at a scale, I think we can start to like balance it out a little bit.
Definitely. I don't think I'd be sitting here if I wasn't. But it's like, they always say, not my kids haven't said that, but people are just, oh, you need to go on TikTok and, put your things on there. And I'm like, maybe it's a good, maybe I just need someone to just do social media because it's not my thing.
TikTok is,
I don't enjoy it.
I mean, look, you were there at the first premiere, right?
Yes.
We did 1 million views in 4 days.
On TikTok?
On YouTube, which I now say pre-TikTok, we did 1 million views, which, is an impressive thing.
It's got 4 million.
It's 4 million now, which again is a blessing. I watched
it this morning,
But on TikTok, you could put a video out and in hours you could get 4 million views. Yeah. That's a different...
It is. It's a different reach.
A different thing. It's not, again, and I think there is a science to it and there's a strategy and there's all these kind of things, the algorithm and stuff. But I think, again, utilized for the right purposes, those kind of tools can literally shift the landscape for whatever it is that you're promoting and also reach more people with what it is that you're trying to say. So It's how do you
It's true. I do agree with you, but I also think that there's a world that wants to consume rubbish.
I mean, there's always,
because that's why TikTok to me, don't get me wrong, I have seen good things on there, but a lot of it I just think, and everybody's out here trying to be
Do you know what?
famous from these things.
I've got an alternative perspective to that, because I remember reading something a while ago. So TikTok was set up to be an educational platform.
Okay.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to misquote this, I think it was the Chinese company.
Yep.
Their TikTok is different to our TikTok.
Yes.
For various different reasons. We can conspiracy theory it till till the cows come home, right? But ultimately, when you think like, you know, the adverts I've seen for TikTok have been, oh, I'm not sure how to do this, let me look on TikTok. What we as or people in general, I think what your algorithm may play you is stuff that almost dumbs down your brain, makes you laugh, gives you that dopamine fix. But I think if you flip what you're searching for, very similar to YouTube, very similar to Instagram, like as much as we say, okay, these are our algorithms and they're going to show me that stuff, if I'm subscribed only, if I've got 1,000 followers and 900 of those are educational, uplifting, history things, that's all I'm going to get.
Okay.
So there is a part to it that we have to take control over our own narrative.
I'm not on TikTok.
That's what I'm saying. But if
my daughter sends me so much things on there. I said to her, "You're sending me these things. I can't even open them anymore." Before you used to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
Now they've done it like that. But the thing is, I'm not totally against it. I'm not like, but I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on parents, and they're just seeing things like constantly, whereas I would only go, or your Christmas is coming up, you might have seen a few adverts on the TV for whatever toy, Mr. Frosty or whatever it was that was the
Mr. Frosty.
Listen,
bro.
That I wanted Mr. Frosty.
Wow. Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Frosty.
Crazy.
I know I'm showing my age, but so you'd see that, and that might kind of just now, because of the things that they're exposed to, it's like you go to Sainsbury's and my son would be like, "Oh, can I have some V-Bucks?" That's the
Fortnite thing. Money.
Currency. And it's like, you don't have no concept of this thing. This like, so now I got him a Monzo card, right?
Oh yeah.
So he's 10 and he's got this little card, but it's all on my joint to my account. So when he does his chores, because he used to get upset, he does his chores and I don't really keep cash. So he'd be waiting for his money and, you owe me £15 because I've done it for this amount of weeks. And so now what I do is I transfer his chore money.
That makes sense.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. My boy is coming out from school because I meet him now because he's in year 6. I just park up and he just walks like he's big to the car. Every day he's going to sweet shop.
In between the school and the car.
There's a little sweet shop, right? So he tap. So then there was some new skin on Fortnite, Shack. Anyway, he wanted this thing. I think it was £20. So he said, "Oh, mummy, can you give me my chore money in advance?" I said, "No, I don't work. I have to do the work and then I get paid. That's how it works." I said, "Anyway, let's look." So I showed him the little balance of what he'd been spending. I said, if you didn't go to the sweet shop every day, you'd have had enough money. You'd have one more week to do chores and then you would have been able to buy what you wanted.
Message.
But I feel like because they don't, like I had money, my mum would give me £5. That would be my lunch money for the week. £5 on a Monday. That's £1 a day. This is a long time ago.
Make
So
it stretch. Yeah.
We'd go to the not now.
I know. Like,
this is a long
even
time ago.
Even as you said that, I was like, I can't remember the last time I spent £5
but you're not. I'm like 10 years or a lot more older than you. We'd get kebab and chips for £1 back then. What? And I went to school in Islington.
Wow.
So this is when McDonald's, I'm making myself sound really old. McDonald's the meal was $2.88. Right? That's how much it was. So if I felt, okay, you know what, I'm going to have McDonald's today and it's Monday, right? I buy a $2.88 meal. Guess what? I have to either make sandwich or... But because you had the physical money, it taught me to budget.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he's not being taught to budget because it's like, oh.
Have you seen is it Henry?
Go Henry. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
It, Go Henry.
That's the other.
That's the budget one, right?
So it's very similar.
Yeah.
And Monzo does exactly the same thing. You just don't pay a fee. Because with Go Henry, you've got to pay a fee. I don't know how much it is, but yeah, I don't need to pay when I have one that isn't. So
you say he's 10.
He's 10, yeah.
There's another book called I have to find it. There's a budgeting book. I mean, I'm sure you guys do it anyway. But
we've got this. No, we teach, or just these are the kind of things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
These are the conversations we're having today. I needed to give him £1 for. He had to wear red to school today. Didn't have any cash, whatever. So we took £10 out of the cash point, and I said, I just want to get some change so that I can give you your £5 for your pocket money, and you can have £1 for the non-uniform day. He goes in there. So just get something, a little something, so we just want to get the change. Next thing I see my boy getting the Krispy Kreme donut, right? Not the nice one, the one I like, the glazed one. So the one he was choosing was £2.95. Yeah. But he thought, because £10, we got £10, £5 of it is his, and then mine is the other £5 that's got to give him £1. He was doing that because that was coming out of my thing of it. So I said, okay, Rome's, you've only got £5. If you buy this donut, how much are you going to have left? And he said, oh, I don't want that one anymore. I said, oh, when it was my money,
different.
You want to buy it. So these are the kind of things that I'm trying to teach them. But, I don't know. It's a hard battle when you've got that thing saying, oh, you need to get that new skin for a fortnight. You need to buy this. You need to buy that.
It's constant bombardment.
They are being bombarded.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it's that pressure that makes... I think I'm good where I can say no. But other parents, it makes you feel bad when you can't, or you don't want to, or you just haven't got it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm digressing way too much today.
That's all right.
So tell us a little bit about the steps that you've taken to walk in your purpose.
You said it at the top of the conversation. You spoke about obedience. It's just been obedience, I look back on different key moments in my life where I wouldn't have wanted to do it, and it's been obedience. So I'll give you a few examples. When I left the property industry to start Aviard in 2015, which was my social enterprise, I was just about to get married. There was lots of reasons why I shouldn't have really done that. Not because just ultimately other people might have looked and said, why are you leaving the property game? Do you know what property does? There's always so much money to make in property. You're doing really well. But it was obedience. And then there was a season of being in like wilderness and like a bit of, I wouldn't say drought in the sense of like things are not happening, but it just wasn't. No, I will say drought actually, because it wasn't happening at the time. It was like that refinement in the darkness that you spoke about before. And then within all of that is when we released the film, and then overnight, boom. And I remember I was telling you, I think I said it off air, like where the film, we were about to release it at the end of 2018, and then the film wasn't ready, so we lost the money and we were crowdfunding the whole time. All of these different hurdles, and then the film comes out, does 1 million views in 4 days, changes my life, goes on to do 4 million. Then you're like, okay, cool. Lots of stuff happening, lots of momentum. This is it. This is the reason, God, let's go. All of 2019, doing my thing on the news, 10 Downing Street, all of these things that are just like, wow, like you're walking in your purpose. Yeah. Then I was about to turn 30 in March 2020. Oh. And the week of my 30th birthday, lockdown happened. Oh. And so then everything I was doing shut down. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll see you in a couple months, and do school talks and all of this stuff. And suddenly you realize that nothing is coming back the way it was. And for a period of time, it was really sad. It was like, a dark time, because you've kind of stopped something that was a little bit more of a guaranteed earner at times to go and pursue what God's told you to do. Yeah. And I remember one day I was speaking to my manager at the time, and I was saying to her, like, I don't know what to do. And she just said, serve people. If you go in there with invoice, people are not really going to do that right now, but just serve. And then that's when I created like a digital campaign for young people around lockdown. That's when it built up some momentum. And then I ended up doing a campaign for the Mayor of London's Back to School, like producing my first like short film outside. I produced it? Or I creative directed this short film outside of my first film. And And then on top of that, I'd sent a broadcast to somebody, and I said, can this person jump on a call? Can this person do a video for the young people? Like, it doesn't really do that, unfortunately. But I've been watching you, love what you stand for. Would you come and do some consultancy for us? And that person was Anthony Joshua.
Oh, wow.
And out of nowhere, for like the last 4 months of 2020 or 2021, I can't remember, like, I'm working for at the time, the heavyweight champion of the world from nowhere. And so what it kept showing me is that obedience. That's when I got the first connection into Jamaica, because of the work I'd done with the young people. And I just think throughout this whole season of my life, where I've been more conscious of the things that God asked me to do, when he asked me to do it, I do my best to say yes, because he's never failed me. And it's easier said than done. You know, even little small things, like I'll go somewhere and I'll see a bit of rubbish on the road, and I'm just like, that's got nothing to do with me. I promise you, there's been times where God has said, no, I told you to go and pick it up.
Listen,
And
he has to refine your ear.
Yeah, trust me. I've told you to go and pick it up. And you're like, nah, but there's people around, or it's raining, or it's I'm in sliders. And it's like, no, I told you to go and pick it up. And I think it's in those times of refinement where he's giving me small things, and I've done what I needed to do with the small stuff, that in the big things, he's confident that I'm going to do it. And so when I look at my life now, and I look at the things that I'm blessed to do, and, you know, platform, opportunity, and green lights and all of this stuff, I'm just like, I get it, because it was obedience. And it has been obedience. And so that's what I would say. Obedience has been the biggest. If I can leave anybody with like anything today, it's like when that voice talks to you, all of that. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. What did you say at the beginning? Delayed obedience is disobedience. That is cold.
It is.
That is the one.
That's
delayed obedience is disobedience.
Who knows?
So, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's so many things that you said that just hit me. You know that sometimes when I come here, not sometimes, every time I come here, it's almost like it's the right time, and what they're saying, what the person that I'm interviewing is saying, just hits me. Like, yeah. But just know that you've done your job well today. Thanks, Dad. Always sending your vessel somehow, some way. It made me lose my trail of thought. But yeah, sometimes. I think obedience. I'm writing a chapter. Oh, I don't want to even say this. Anyway, I don't want to even put no pressure on myself.
Why?
You know, I write books, right? So
why don't you gonna put pressure on yourself? You don't think you're gonna do it?
I know I'm gonna do it.
So then,
what is the length of time it takes me to do it?
Deadlines are not bad.
Deadlines are my favorite. Actually, they're not my favorite, but I work well to them. So the job that I do now is that I write reports for court. Guess what? They've got deadlines. Guess what? I don't miss no deadlines. I am, like, it helps me in my life to have a thing. So I'm so, what's the word? The first book took 10 years. It was a long time. Second book was a bit quicker. This third one, the problem is I've got two that he gave me that I'm kind of writing at the same time. And I said to him this year that I really wanted to go on a solo trip so that I could just spend that time writing. Hasn't happened. With the years, I heard it said we've got 75 days left of 2024. So say no more. But I'm just saying to Dad, if that's what you want me to do, you need to send everything. Yeah. But yeah, so mine is just to be creative, I have to be in the right space.
Yep, I head up.
Yeah, this year I haven't been in that space. I really haven't. I have been having a lot of questions to myself. I had a real deep conversation with myself this week. Like, why is it that I can't just be happy and content with just being Riley, Ray and Roman's mum? Women just do that, and they do it well, and they just, that's what they do. I want to do that. I do that. But there's always like, oh, I got to do this. Got to do this. I got to do this. I got this book. Oh, I got this. prison, that thing, I can't put, it just won't leave me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I know you probably know. When God gives you something, God gave me prison. He laid prison on my heart from when I was about 16 years old. A friend of a friend went to prison, and that started the thing. But there's just like this, I know, and God has shown me, because every time I'm in that space, my whole body is like, the Holy Spirit is just, it's so strong. Do you know what I mean? When I did the pilot of the women's program, I wrote that maybe in 2014, that program. And we piloted it last year, July. So that's a long time waiting, finalising. A lot of it is me. I'm not going to even lie to you. A lot of it is me. Anyway, the doors finally opened. We got into the prison, did the project. The day that we were driving home, the tears just would not stop. I said to my friend, me and my friend do it together. I said, I can die now. Like, I can actually die and feel like I did what I had to do. Do you know what I mean? And she was like, that's so deep, Jay. And I was like, yeah, but you don't understand. This thing has been in me from a girl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm digressing. So there's like all these things, like my brain is just feeling like, whoo, there's just too much. And then it's like, then my son, he's got training like literally 5 days a week for football. That's my job, is to make sure that he's there on time, that he's eaten a good meal before he you know what I mean? Like, got his kit, got his boots. So how can I do those things when I'm trying to do these things? That's my battle at the moment. So it's not that I don't want to, or that I'm lazy. Yeah, I do a little procrastinate. I do procrastinate sometimes. But at the moment, I just don't see where that space is going to come from. That was my solution, was that if I'm on my own and I'm away, there's nobody needs anything they can't have anything from me, because I won't be there.
Have you ever read the 5 a.m. Club?
No, I haven't. But now I will order that. But I have been getting up at 5:30 recently, this week.
First time?
No.
Oh.
You know what? I do a accountability group at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So that's like it's like a coaching group
Yeah.
with other people. So I get up probably 4:45. So I have my shower, get ready. Like it's on Zoom or whatever, but I like to be ready if that works. Yeah. And yeah, so
that book,
I have done it.
The reason I said that, another thing I didn't mention about lockdown, was that's what I did in lockdown that gave me an edge. Because it was easy when you're at home to kind of, to a certain extent, lose discipline because you're not going out anywhere. And I think claiming back that first hour, there's a formula. It says 20 minutes of prayer, 20 minutes of movement, 20 minutes of reflection or reading or whatever. And that's how they kind of break down that first 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. time, right? But the idea is that if you own your morning, you own your day. And I think you've obviously, from what you've shared, you've already done that already. You're already doing it with your accountability group. But what would happen if everything that you shared already about what you want to write, that time in the morning where everyone else is sleeping, that's the time to write. And that's how I've, obviously I've got a young daughter now, but when I really want to get stuff done, like 5, and my wife has now adopted that as well. So 5 a.m. in the morning, like baby girl sleeping, or sometimes wifey's sleeping, and I'm up, I'm grinding, I'm getting it done. And you get so many more hours on the day. And then you can go in and do everything else you've done, because that couple hours you've had in the morning has just been productive. So yeah, 5 a.m. Club is a great book. Great audio book as well.
You know what? I'm going to get it. Do you know what I've done in all this journey of motherhood? The amount of, because I love self-development, personal. I did a counselling course, got 3 kids, I'm working full time. That's my time. And that morning time is my best time. I'm not I can't stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
I lost that trait now, man. I can't do it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different now.
But I know I get stuff done. So maybe you've come to remind me that 5 a.m. is a good time. But this week is so mad because I've been actually waking up at 5:30, but I've been getting up before the alarm, having my shower, go downstairs, I have my time to pray. And so I have felt better. So yeah, okay. good. Right, I feel like I'm being counselled right now. But it's good. I'm always receiving. I'm always learning. Like, I'm not here to, like, I don't know everything. And I say that in my accountability group. I can teach you things that I've used to help me. That doesn't mean I know everything. Sometimes I need the group for myself. Right. the what is it? The master needs a teacher, or the teacher needs a master. I don't know which way around it is. I always get, my husband is going to laugh when he hears that, because I always mess up these little sayings.
Well, ultimately, even the therapists, they've got that.
Yeah, they have to have therapy.
That therapy as well and stuff. And I think, that's it. Like, even one of my mentors, big 60-odd-year-old, we met his mentor, and I was like, from time you've got all right, cool, I get it.
Yeah,
like this is a constant learning curve, sitting at someone else's feet, sitting at the table, learning, listening. I always say, if you want to wear the crown, you got to carry the crown first.
That is so wow. Yeah. That is so, made me think of all sorts of I was thinking of David. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah.
But yes, the last question.
I've really enjoyed this conversation, by the way.
Have you?
Yeah, and I say that before you ask the question. I say that because I do like have conversations and podcasts and stuff, and sometimes the narrative can be similar because this story is quite prevalent in terms of me getting stabbed. But I appreciate the fact that we've just been able to talk about other stuff.
We're not here for that.
No, but
and that's you know what? And it's like,
depends what your last question is now. This is like, tell me what it was like when you got.
No. This is about purpose.
Yeah,
this is, when I think of the definition of purpose, I think about, sorry, God is just literally downloading something as I'm speaking to you. Okay. Thanks, Dad. Sometimes I'm like, I just told you about all the things I got to do. Now you want to give me something else. Anyway, no delayed obedience this time. Oh gosh, that's messed me up now. Sorry, it's because I'm thinking of what he just said to me.
Just sit on that one. It's fine. They'll wait. It's cool.
The people that I want to speak to, or the people who are walking in their purpose, everyone's got a story. Some of us, the sermon I was listening to yesterday was going deep into it. He's saying, when you walk on this road with God, we said it's treacherous. It's going to be treacherous, but God uses those painful, those dark times, those hard times to help you grow.
100%.
And help you to depend and rely on him. If everything was good all the time, we wouldn't need him.
What they say, seeds don't grow in light. Do
you know what I mean? So when I heard that yesterday, it hit a little bit different. I was like, ooh. So the thing is, yes, you have a story, but I don't want to, that's not, I'm talking about, this is where you are now. This is what you're doing. Appreciate yes, that. Those things are helpful because it helped you to get to where you are now, but I'm not dwelling on it.
Appreciate that.
And there's another guest that I'm going to reach out to her today, and it's like, I've seen some of the podcasts. There are people who are out there just want to hear like this controversy and this drama and this. I feel like that is what
who it is now.
No, we'll speak after. But there are people who host podcasts where they're just there about the hype and the this and the. That's not what we're here for.
God bless the space that you're sitting in.
This is about, okay, how can we help someone? That's what purpose. That's what I was gonna say. Purpose is about. It's not about you. It's about other people. What can you bring? How are you serving? How are you blessing? How are you doing it for other people? 100%. Your purpose shouldn't be for you. It's for God.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is not going to be the things that we want to do.
Trust me.
As I say here, sitting in front of these cameras that I didn't really want to sit in front of.
Yeah.
But that's what he asked. So I'm here for it.
Same. I always say I was a estate agent and no one ever needed to know my story. I just needed to sell and rent the house. And then, that taking you out of that kind of insular, it's about me. I'm just going to stay away from the limelight. And don't get me wrong, I'm kind of, I would say I'm an ambivert. I'm a bit in between introvert and extrovert.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I've heard of
I
that.
can do
I
I can
didn't
do
realise.
both.
Yeah,
I
me too.
definitely can go in a room and be there. Oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
But I can equally
But
go in
I
a room
quite
and
like to be on my own, to be
110%.
honest with
I
you.
prefer not the time. I'm married, so I
No,
don't.
so am I.
But yeah, so but do you know what I mean? There's a space to just be like, I'm locked in. It's just me one. I do like that. But yeah, I say that to say that it's probably our natural inclination to not be front and center. But you know, tables have what they say, candles need to be put on the top of a table for people to see their light.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
Very true.
can't hide a light underneath a table.
No, you can't put a cover over it either.
Exactly. But yeah, sorry, I went on a tangent. Apologies.
It's fine, and I feel like it just needed to flow this way. And I feel like it's funny because depending on who I speak to, I've come and I've just read the questions, and there's been no thing. And then my husband, as he does every time, this is my favorite space, even though I find it uncomfortable. I love the conversations. I always
You're
love.
very good at it, I must say. You're good.
Thank you.
No, very good.
I've been a probation officer for a long time, you know. And you know what? I would say that has helped me to be. I just like to make not just superficial conversation, but make people feel comfortable, and make people just have a space that they can bring whatever.
It's a gift, definitely. Not everyone can do it.
Because I think as I got more deeper into working with people, I stopped doing it the way that like the script was, and I started to just be my authentic self. And God, listen, some of those last years where I was doing like, this is before lockdown, because after lockdown I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's just, but God, there was a particular guy that I worked with where God, the Holy Spirit, every single time would show up in that room. It was extraordinary, actually. And there was one day, I think I was feeling really, just everything was a lot. I felt tired. I just felt like I just needed to have a bit of time out, replenish. And there's a song that I love, and it's called Fill Me Up, Tasha Cobbs.
Big true.
And whenever I feel like that, I just put that. Anyway, this young man came into the session like he did every week, and he had this bottle of juice with him. And I didn't see him walking, because in the reception area you could get water from the machine, and they had cups there. And he put 2 cups on the table in front of us. He'd already had some for himself, and he poured the juice and he filled my cup. Amani. I've got a picture of the juice because I wanted to remember the moment.
Wow.
Anyway, that was so...
Hear that?
So deep.
And
so he didn't. I think I cried that day because we were... I'm myself. But I'm a person, and we'd have the deepest conversations, and God would speak to me and say, and I remember I said something to him one time, wasn't me, I don't know enough, I don't know you're deep.
Yeah.
And the tear just went like this. And he was just like, he believed in God, luckily.
Yeah.
That always helps.
Yeah, it does.
Because otherwise they think you're crazy. But he was like, I know that wasn't you. I know that weren't you.
Say no more.
Yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
So the gifts get refined. So when you're there and you got this caseload of like 60 people, and this one wants to F and blind and do all of that, and then you get those little moments, you're just like, okay, there is a reason that I'm doing this. Yep. Definitely. So maybe it was to prepare me for the time that we are now. That was the darkness, and now I'm over here.
100%.
You know. But the final question is, even though I feel like you've done this the whole time, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to find their purpose?
I think purpose has to be activated by God. So, because again, as I said, if it's whispered in your ear, gone straight to your heart, then God's done that, right? So you might find an element of it, but you haven't got the full picture without God being involved in it. So I would say that one of the most important things that anyone can do trying to find their purpose is to develop their relationship with God, because then that additional missing piece, that additional clue or whatever it is going to be given through the Holy Spirit or through the word or through a sermon or through, fasting and prayer, whatever like that. That's going to come in that season, even if it is that you're already doing part of it already. So you might work in your space and you might be really good at what you do and this is your purpose, you can do that. But maybe you're not using it the way that it was meant to be used, right? So I think, that's what I would say. I would say that you a lot of people might already be walking in purpose, but they're not at the level that God has kind of said to them that, I need you to do it at this level. And so, just developing that relationship and refining or tuning the ear to listen. And I guess what I say on every opportunity I get, any time I've got a mic in front of me, is pray like it's up to God and work like it's up to you.
Wow.
So,
you dropped the mic again. Do you know something? This conversation, I kept even the journey to get us here has been really, I know it's God anyway, but I remember you coming to my old church. I think that's the first time I met you.
What church is it?
Faith City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though.
You got people them there, man.
Yeah. It was. So you came.
That
was a long time ago.
But we'd met before that, no? I think.
I feel like that was the first time.
Is it?
That's the time that I remember.
In the audits,
because there's I think Louise.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the first time I met you. Because I think, and Louise introduced us, and
I big up Louise, man.
Yeah,
Love you,
I've
sis.
not spoke to her for a long, long time, but definitely.
Yeah.
So that was the first time, and I met Ashley. And that, and then I can't remember, but there's lots of connections. Karen Allen is like my big sis. I absolutely love that woman.
She doesn't like me calling her auntie though.
No, you can't.
But
you're making us.
But I call her auntie because
when you was talking about your birthday being in lockdown, my 40th was would have been October.
Okay.
And all these, listen, I had put the deposit down on a venue. I was having this whole big old thing.
Trust me.
And I had bare drama with the venue because it's lockdown. I need that money back,
Run that back.
You need to run that. But they were going on, oh no, we can, listen.
Anyway.
But you know what? What it was? God was like, you don't need to have all them people.
Yeah, I hear that. A lot of the people I would have invited probably wouldn't even come to the next thing anyway. Love though, but it's different. It's a different space
there was
now.
something in me that grew. So in the end, I had this really, and I better not get myself in trouble because then they're like, I didn't go to that.
Don't say that.
But it was a very intimate.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, when you think about what was going on in government, you can say what you want, really, but that's all politics. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? God did a work, especially in lockdown. But the people that were there were the people that were supposed to be there.
100%.
And it was something I will never forget. And I'm so glad that it was God's plan and not mine, and His will and not mine.
Yeah, trust.
Definitely. But I still want the trip to Bali, babes.
he's listening. I think he switched off the camera by now. Though.
Yeah, he probably has, to be fair.
Podcast done a long time ago. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to make sure that when I ask these bit. Not to clip that bit, please. That one is just for my husband.
Bro, I tried, man. I tried. Bank's going to be depleted. So.
It's all right. I'm worth it.
Yeah, I hear that. But Bali's far, brother. Trust me. I've been. It's nice, though.
But you know what? There's something, and I encourage you. I know your daughter's young, but make sure you invest that time in just you and Ashley.
100%. Yeah, that's another podcast. Obviously marriage. I've been married for a little while now. I've been with her for a while as well, like a number of years. But 100%. And I'm sure there'll be lots of time for these conversations and stuff. But yeah, that's it. Like, children come and they're a blessing, but they cannot detract from the foundation we built.
They do though.
They do, but I always say like I try my best. Obviously, I'm one up now. I'm when I get to 2, 3, etc., it's different. But I do try and say to like my brothers that are about to have children or getting married, and I'm just saying to them like, guys, like you got to lock in that time, put it in a diary, be intentional, try and encourage your children to be comfortable staying at grandma's house, staying at auntie's house, like people that you trust, that you love.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't get that time, and that's where it can very easily start to separate, and then anything's possible, and the devil likes that territory, and so
I'm telling you,
we have to lock everything down, man.
I'm telling you,
so.
One of the things, this is the other, all these other things that I do.
Man.
So I wrote a book about marriage, and marriage is like one of my ministries because I don't want to see people getting divorced.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I'm a child of divorced parents, and it causes a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. It makes you very untrusting in relationships and stuff like that. We don't want this. We don't want them to have to unlearn stuff. So I have to be intentional. And it's not to say that I know everything. I don't know everything about marriage. I'm still learning. I've been with someone for 23 years,
man,
and I still learn. There's still bits of him that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that about you. Or, oh, I really like, we went away, the two of us. Oh my goodness. I felt like 20-year-old Jernine. Like, seriously.
Love that.
That's what it felt like. And I was just like, this is beautiful. And remember, we're on the other side, like with 17, 15, 10. They're a bit older. I even said to my eldest, my 50th will be in 2030. I don't need to ask nobody to look after them because they're going to be grown.
That's jokes.
Well, actually, they're all going to be quite old then. But even like she's going to be 18, not this year, next year. You're legal to look after your thing. Don't have to ask grandma no more. They can cook, they can clean, they know how to do.
I'm not trying to rush the process, but I'm trying to get to delegation stage. You know what I mean?
It's good. It's good.
Like older sibling times. You know what I mean?
These are the things that you put baby girl on the side when you're cooking or when you're doing like help her to let her put the washing. I've got to give them these skills.
Yeah, 100%.
When you leave me, and I tell, especially my son, you need to know how to cook. I do not want you to rely on nobody to have to cook your meals or wash your clothes. I need you to be a foot. I don't want no woman coming to tell me, oh, it's your fault that he's not. God forbid. So this conversation has blessed me on a level that I don't know if you would know, but I needed this today.
Thank you.
There's so many things. I always watch it back anyway, but I'm definitely going to be ordering that book. Waking up at 5. I'm going to set my alarm for Monday for 5 o'clock. I used to get up and go gym at that time, That used to be my routine. But my gym doesn't open till, I could still go in the morning. I just choose not to because I like my bed too. But
man. No, my pleasure.
Just a blessing, just an absolute blessing. And just keep doing what you're doing. And just keep praying, keep taking time out for yourself. That is important. And when things feel like they're becoming just have a quiet place.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like for you. Mine is this lake that I go to. I have many lakes actually.
Walking.
Water is like
100%.
I could be up here.
Water still calm.
And I'm telling you, and I could be there for 5 minutes. Sometimes I do that. I've dropped my son to school. I know the day's and I just go there and I just spend that little time.
Facts.
See, I gotta go because I got my call or my video link is at this time.
Yeah.
Cool. But that time, and I really encourage anybody to find a quiet space, a quiet time, a place that you go to when you're feeling in that way.
Yeah.
And I think dark times have definitely taught me that, and gave me some really nice spaces to go to.
Yeah.
That I used to just go on my own. And then once I'd had my therapy and I felt I was in a much better space, then I showed my family where I was going.
That's good.
And now it's our space that we all go to.
Nice.
But really, really, really Really good. Love the
Yeah,
conversation.
thanks for
Got
having
so
me.
much love for you.
Likewise, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
as I said, like, God bless your platform. Looking forward to seeing what God wants you to do with it. And
I'll tell you because he just
and,
told me.
was
And I
it
was like,
obedience? Delayed obedience is disobedience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for somebody in the back row.
Yeah.
That's for me
Yeah.
to stop delaying. But yeah,
Thank you, sis.
thank
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thank you.
We've wrapped up the first episode of season 5. I'm Jernine Russell. Like, share, subscribe. Send this to somebody who needs a blessing today, who might not want it in the usual form, but God is really speaking and moving on this platform. And we just thank you. Take care. See you next time.